Hi there, welcome to the SharePoint 24 conference and welcome to my session, the SharePoint Development Toolbox. My name is Rodrigo Pinto, I'm a SharePoint Solution Architect here in Évora, in Lisbon, Portugal. I'm also a SharePoint MVP and I've been developing within the platform since the earlier versions. In this session, I will talk about some of the tools that you can use in your development processes. Also, I will deliver some developer tips and the toolbox itself. The toolbox is divided in 4 categories: environment, system, helpers, and dev. Basically, the idea is to show you some tools that can help you from the scratch, from the starting of creating SharePoint environments to the development process itself. SharePoint development tips. There's an old Chinese saying that states that SharePoint is like sex. If it's a pain in the butt, it's because you're doing something wrong. The main idea here is based on my experience doing some consulting within the clients and some external development teams. Most of them states that SharePoint is not a reliable development platform. Basically, in 90% of the cases, the problem was with the development process itself. A SharePoint developer must have a different mindset than any other kind of developers. SharePoint Dev is a new breed generation. To be a SharePoint developer, sometimes I must be a sysadmin, I must know how to install operating systems, configure DNS, Active Directory management, and so on. Sometimes I have to be a database administrator. I have to manage database, create DB users, permissions. I'm also sometimes have to be a web designer. Have to know how to brand a site, know about CSS, JavaScript, and so on. I must be a super user. I need to know how to create sites, permissions, auditing, add users, and also I need to know how to use the platform in the proper way. I'm also a user. So, with great power comes great responsibility. So, SharePoint developer 10 commitments. Usually, I use this commitments in my internal teams. Basically, there's a set of rules that I think all the SharePoint developer should know about. First of all, they shall leave your development in better shape than that you found it. When you're supporting SharePoint development, comment, refactor the code refactor if you can, the code that you are supporting. Basically, the idea is to leave the development in a better shape that you found it. Second of all, they shall automate your process. Automation is a key factor in SharePoint development processes. Don't repeat yourself. Don't install things by hand. Use post-build events, scripting, PowerShell, automation. Third, they shall use your toolbox in a proper way. Don't expect the toolbox to do your work. It's a toolbox, not a minion. I know a couple of developers that relies blindly in some tools. The idea is to use the tool wisely, always verifying the result sets. They shall not reinvent the wheel. I know a couple of developers that are recreating some of the features within SharePoint. Know the platform before you start developing. See if the platform has the feature itself already. Okay, they shall automate your processes. Automation, and they shall be consistent. Impose rules in each thing that you do and stick with it. Basically, assume team rules in your SharePoint development processes. They shall be social. Share knowledge, share tips, share problems. The idea of sharing, it's very important because you learn a lot by giving a bit of your knowledge to others basically I'm working since 1998, and the old developers status was one person ruled the knowledge all. The idea here is to enhance your knowledge by sharing what you are doing. Okay, basically that's it. I shall make your solution self-sustain. This is a concept I tend to use in my teams. The idea here is whenever you whenever you develop a new feature, the idea is to why not do it in a way that you can create a product with it. Okay. Then the ninth is thy shall be intuitive, and especially thy shall be careful. Use defense coding. Leave the code better than you found it. Assume the worst case scenario on deployment. The toolbox itself. As I told you before, the toolbox itself is divided in 4 categories. This one is the first one, environment. The idea here is to create virtual machines with some kind of automation to speed up your setup processes. Basically, this is out of SP family, Auto SharePoint Installer, Automate SharePoint PowerShell based installation script. It's a PowerShell script that reads an XML file with some settings and sets you up for the creation of the SharePoint environment within your virtual or physical machines. The other one is the AutoS SharePoint Source Builder, a utility for downloading bits and create slipstreams regarding the prerequisites of the platform, service packs, language packs, and cumulative updates. It also uses an XML file for setting up some of the bits. The other one is a SharePoint PowerShell automated deployment script. Basically, it's a script that you can automate for creation of web applications, site collections, deploy solutions, activate and deactivate features. Okay, and now I'll do some demo right now. Connect to my machine. AutoSP install. The AutoSP installer scripting has a graphic user interface. It's more friendly for us to do some of the settings of the setup of the environment. Let's wait a while it loads. Basically, I have an XML file with some settings regarding a SharePoint 2013 environment. Just wait a second. Okay, we have a couple of settings here. We can name the environment that we are prepared to setting up. This one is a development environment, SharePoint version 2013. I got a couple of options here that I can check. Usually, without this tool, usually I use I tend to switch on and switch off the settings by hand. Loopback check and use service, then exploring and security. I got some farm settings, farm accounts, central admin, databases, manage accounts. You can also configure some of the services, the logging. You got a tab with enable web application settings. You can create by default some web applications. Configure manage path like collections, service applications, word automation, app management, subscription service, you name it. You can all of the The service applications can be configured here. Enterprise service applications, Excel, Visio, Access Service, performance point service, and Office Web Apps, Project Server. Basically, the installation XML. Oops, it's not here. It's in here. No, not here. It's in here. SP installer. This is the XML file that AutoSP installer reads. Basically, you have all settings, and the script itself is right here. Okay, as you can see, you can customize it the way you want. Okay, this is one of the tools. The other one is the AutoSP source builder. You have a similar XML file that you can configure. You don't have a graphic user interface editor with this. Basically, you have some entries in an XML, a product, prerequisites, cumulative updates, language packs, you name it. You can also have different elements for different products. In here I have a SharePoint 2013 Office Web Apps, and I think SharePoint 2010. Yes. And PowerShell scripting itself, where you can customize the way you want. Okay. All available in Complex, free of charge. AutoSP deploy. It's another PowerShell script that runs with the batch file. Basically, it calls the scripts, and the scripts itself. The script itself is this. You also can customize it the way you want it, and an XML file with the settings of what you want to deploy. Manage accounts are web applications, features, activating, deactivating if you want, with the scope, with the feature. Also, you can customize it. Back to the slides. So the next tool is a tool called Chocolate Gallery. Basically, think of it as a NuGet package if instruction embedded within your operating system. You can get packages to be installed within your environment. Usually I tend to do this whenever a new project starts. You have a package with SharePoint Manager, ULS viewers. There's a lot of new packages being developed as we speak, and the idea with this tool is to download useful SharePoint tool packages in an easy way. Think as a NuGet for your operating system. Tools regarding PowerShell. I got a PowerShell command builder, Windows PowerShell for SharePoint command builder. Basically it's a web page developed by Microsoft where you can configure some of the scripting that you are doing with PowerShell, and the result will appear in a text box, and you can copy paste within your PowerShell console whenever you like. The other one is PowerShell Helpers by Gary Lapointe. Basically, these helpers add some functionality, some features to the commandlets of the SharePoint that tend to be useful, very useful indeed. The other one is an editor and a Visual Studio add-in for PowerShell that already it's Power GUI, that you can debug your scripting. I'll show you the demo. Okay, let's go to the virtual machine again. Windows PowerShell Command Builder. Basically, it's a web page, as I told you guys. It's a web page developed by Microsoft, inherited all the products. It works from the 2010 version to the SharePoint Online. I will show you a quick demo. Create a site URL, http speed2010 366 sites, my SP site. We'll call it my SP. Site owner login name. As you can see, every time you lose the focus on each of this text box, you can have the PowerShell scripting delivered in this text box. You can copy to clipboard and use it wisely whenever you want. Also, you can have you have all of these options. You can use it to build your PowerShell scripting. This is one of the tools. The other one is the SharePoint PowerShell commandlets by Gary Lapointe. Basically, I tend to use this a lot. Oops. Format table. Sorry. I tend to use this a lot. This is a comment added to the PowerShell commandlets, and basically it lists all the customized page I have in my environment. There's a couple of commandlets you can verify on the link I put on the PowerShell on the PowerPoint. The other one is the Power GUI visual editor. Now you can open. I'm going to open PC desktop demo. Open one of these. Maybe this one. Okay, you can put breakpoints in it. Oops. This isn't the right scripting I was looking for. Let me check. This is the one. with a breakpoint. You can put breakpoints. The idea is a visual editor for your PowerShell scripting. I don't know if you guys already know this tool, but it's quite useful. Back to the slides. The other category is a system category. Well, I will show you the sysinternal advanced system utilities, a couple of tools that are useful in the SharePoint environments. It's an IT Pro tool. ULNS Viewer, Unified Logging System File Viewer, very useful for viewing the ULS files. And another one is the SP View. Basically, it's a ULS watcher that notifies us by systray of some events that can occur within the platforms. Usually, I use this tool within only on the development machines, virtual machines. Another PowerShell scripting regarding the service account creation. Basically, it's another PowerShell that uses an XML that uses an XML as a resource with some service accounts that you can automate the creation. Another tool is the PAL, Analyze Performance Monitor Logs, and the SharePoint Audit Log Translator, SharePoint Audit Log Friendly Viewer. Back to the demos. Go to my VM again. Demos. Okay. Sysinternals. There's a bunch of tools from Sysinternals that you can use. Basically, I tend to use this one. The most used is the background info tool. Basically, where you can define what's your desktop bitmap with information regarding the machine. Okay. So you change the color. The idea here is to have different settings showing on the desktop image on each environment. Basically, I tend to use this quite often. Format color, put this in the same thing. Okay. I use the blue in development machines, and I use the red in production, for example. Okay. Put this as it was. Okay. Bye. And the idea here is to, whenever you enter your environment, you know already in which environment are you logged on. Okay, this is one of the tools. The other one is the debug view. Basically, if you do some debug with .write line within your code, it will show in here. The other one interesting is the Process Explorer, where you can see all the dependency regarding an application running within your environment. And another one that I tend to use most is this disk to VHD file. Basically, it's transformation of physical drives to VHDs. So these internals, ULS viewer. Basically, you can open your ULS files, log files, and apply filters, notification. Okay. Another tool that is also interesting is the SP trace view. Basically, it's a tool that stays on the system tray, where you can be notified whenever a problem or a warning or any kind of event, this kind of event that happens in your environment. Usually I tend to use this only on development machines. Service account, PowerShell scripting, fully customized. There are a couple of things that you can do: create organizational units, users. Okay, and basically it requires XML file. We got a couple of XML files loaded. Service account custom. Those ones are empty. That's it. Custom. Okay. Followed it tool. That's a tool to analyze your logs, performance analysis logs. I got a sample report here just to show you what kind of information you can have. Alerts by chronological order. Okay. Time range. Okay. Useful tool also. Auditing, SP audit log. It's a friendly way of seeing your auditing. Read from. Okay. This is auditing information view. Okay, you can read it from an Excel file, and you can save it to a file also, CSV file. Okay, very useful indeed. There's also a version within SharePoint, web part of it, where you can see the same information as I show you on the tool, on the application tool that I'll show you right now. Okay, now back to the demos, to the slides. Helpers, SharePoint helpers tool, SharePoint search query tool, search queries in the search REST API. SharePoint 20 working on SharePoint 2013 and Office 365. The other one is well known, the SharePoint Manager, where you can see all the object model. It's an object model explorer. And the other one is the SharePoint Client Browser for SharePoint. Another useful tool is the build test SharePoint Camel queries, the Camel Designer 2013. Basically, it's a tool where you can build your queries visually, and then you will have the Camel query delivered in a text box for you to use. That's a couple of other features I will show you on the demo. Another one by Microsoft is the administration toolkit. Although it states that the SharePoint it's a SharePoint 2010 tool, it also works with a 2013 version. Basically, it's a couple of reports based on the logging of the system, where you can analyze the performance, the state regarding SQL Server connections, and so on. The other useful tool that normally I used on SharePoint environments that I support is the feature definitions. Find faulty and clean and install them. The SharePoint, the feature administration and cleanup tool. Basically, it finds any feature, orphan feature, or malfunction feature immediately for you to remove it if you want. Use wisely. Back to the demos. SharePoint search, SharePoint query tool. Okay. Basically, you have in this tool, you can query your SharePoint environment by the REST API. Okay, I'm going to put it works with, I'm going to do the demo with SharePoint Online. Okay, run. Total results. Okay. See, it's very useful. You got all the settings that you can put here. It helps you rank and to build your query. Okay, this is one of the tools. SharePoint Manager. It's an object browser explorer of your SharePoint environments. Okay, sites. Got a couple of web applications, sites. Okay, can delete. Can do a bunch of stuff. It's very useful for developing and for troubleshooting some of the problems that you may encounter during your SharePoint development processes or assessments. Another one, the SharePoint client browser. Very useful also. There's a very useful feature that this tool has. That is, just a second, just connecting to my SharePoint Online site. Basically, you can open a PowerShell with the client object model commandlets loaded. Very useful indeed. Just a quick sample. There you go. You can also browse the content of the site Okay. Another tool, Camel Designer. This is very useful also. Here you can build your camel queries. Check on side assets. Let us build our camel query visually. Title, run it. Need to select site pages, it's better there. Oh, there's a column there. Name, view fields. As you can see, your camel query is built over there. Okay. I need to put a where clause, where name contains egg, and run it. Okay, very useful. Another thing that is useful is that this tool delivers some code for us to grab and to put on our projects. Servlet object model, client object model, .NET, REST, by web service, and by PowerShell. Very, very nice indeed. Also, you can make site data queries. SharePoint administration kit comes with a SharePoint Diagnostics Studio, and basically we have a lot of information that we can leverage to know how's the health of our SharePoint environments. Okay, you can export to Excel, you can do a lot of things with it. Useful for assessments. Feature admin. This one is okay. It's the one that detects faulty features within your farm. This is a lifesaver for me for a couple of projects I run into where features were not they were orphan. They were in the projects. Some clients I got some features that were faulty, and in import and export processes. Sometimes the content deployment failed, and with this tool there's a couple this feature, find faulty feature in farm. Faulty feature found. You can remove it for you or not. Okay, should I remove it from the farm? Basically another useful tool. Back to the slides. Okay. Development tools. The first one is a Visual Studio add-in named Community Kit for SharePoint Development Tools Edition. Basically, it speeds up your SharePoint development. It's available on Cookplex. The other one is the SharePoint Code Analysis Framework. It analyzes your code. Very useful indeed, from Matthias. The other one from Mark Anderson is the SP Services jQuery Library for SharePoint Web Service. Basically, it's a jQuery library that can abstract your SharePoint Web Services. As simple as putting a jQuery file within your system, and then you can leverage all the web service within the platform. Another tool that I use is ALSpy. Usually I use this and Reflector for assembly browser and the compiler, and the most famous one, I think, the web debugging proxy Fiddler. Now for the demos. CKS. We'll open a Visual Studio project. Basically, this add-in is very useful, where you got a lot of options within the Visual Studio where you can quick deploy your SharePoint solutions. There's a couple of options where you can copy the assemblies to the SharePoint root, to the GAC assembly, and the SharePoint root, recycle application pools, restart TS, user code processes, timers, attached to the process of all this ES worker, user code, timers, you name it. Another thing that this add-in adds up to our Visual Studio environment is a couple of speed up items, contextual web part, brandings, web templates, handlers, basic service application, Windows communication for foundation service, you name it. The other one is the SP24S055 code analysis, where you can have reports in HTML files regarding your coding and potentially harmful features that you can add to your development. Very cool. The one that is useful is the SP depend reports. Okay, very cool indeed. ALSpy, assembly browser, you can decompile and save your code. It generates a C project file. Okay. And the other one is the well-known Fiddler. Basically, it's a web debugger. Check documents. As you can see, it gets all the puts and all the push and the gets of your inside your web browser. It's a proxy, essentially. Back to the slides. Well, and basically that's it. There's a couple of tools that were not mentioned in here. Probably you have a bunch more, even developed by yourself, by your guys. I would like to know, if possible, what's yours. I'm gathering a list of all of the development tools I've been encountering during this years on development within the platform. So mail me stationsolutions@gmail.com. Mail me the tool that you tend to use, and that's it. Once again, thank you for attending to my session. See you in the next SharePoint 24 conference next year, I hope. Bye bye. Adeus. That's goodbye in Portuguese. Thank you.